Wall Street might be making its next big move into Bitcoin. Morgan Stanley, one of the largest financial institutions in the world, is now pushing forward with its own Bitcoin ETF. And that matters more than it sounds, because this isn't just another firm offering access to Bitcoin, they're building their own product. That means instead of sending clients to ETFs from companies like BlackRock or Fidelity, Morgan Stanley wants a piece of that demand directly. And when a firm managing trillions of dollars starts doing that, people pay attention. Now, the ETF hasn't been approved yet, but the fact that they're advancing the application and refining the structure shows one thing clearly. Institutional confidence in Bitcoin is still growing. And at this point, it's not really about whether there's demand. Bitcoin ETFs are already pulling in billions of dollars. This is about competition, big players competing for capital. And when that happens, it usually brings more liquidity into the market and more attention. Now, if you zoom out for a second, this is actually a huge shift. A few years ago, major banks were skeptical of crypto. Now they're building products around it. That tells you everything about how fast this space is evolving. But while institutions are focused on long-term exposure through ETFs, the retail side of the market is still looking for earlier opportunities. Because historically, some of the biggest gains don't happen when everything is already established. They happen before projects get major exposure. And that's where things like pre-sales start to come into play. One project that's been getting some attention recently is Maxi Doge. Maxi Doge is still in its early phase, which is exactly where a lot of the potential comes from. Because once projects like this start gaining traction and eventually land on larger exchanges, that's when you can see strong price moves happen quickly. It's all about getting in before that visibility hits. Of course, like anything in crypto, there's always risk, and you should always do your own research. But for traders looking for early-stage setups with strong upside potential, projects like Maxi Doge are starting to show up on more watch lists. Now, at the same time, something else is becoming more important in the market: how you actually hold your crypto. More investors are moving towards self-custody instead of leaving funds on centralized exchanges. One option that's been gaining traction is the Best Wallet app. It allows you to securely store your crypto, but also gives you access to new token launches and pre-sales directly inside the wallet. So instead of just holding assets, you're actually in a position to move early when opportunities show up. And when you combine that with projects like Maxi Doge, it creates a simple way to get involved while still staying in control of your assets. At the end of the day, though, the big story here is Morgan Stanley. Because when institutions of that size start building direct exposure to Bitcoin, it's not just another headline, it's a signal that crypto is continuing to move deeper into the financial system, whether people are ready for it or not.